Let us pray. Eternal God, we thank you, sir, very much. All your loving kindness for this, another expression of it. We thank you for a mind of memory, that we can look way back and see that thou hast brought us to this time of history. History, that's your story. Oh! Lord, how you have worked in the lives of men and women. And you let me remember when the dais wasn't as beautiful as it is this morning. All of the flowers were the same color. But you made the change. Out of one blood, you made all men to dwell upon the face of the earth. And you will that we work hard. We persevere forward under your banner and leadership. And look what you've done this morning. Look at these beautiful flowers. Oh, many times they send out a fragrance that passes all understanding. Sometimes we want it to be a little sweeter. But you continue to work with them. Help us, oh God, to continue to let you use us to make a history that those who come behind us will be proud, and that they will not give the significant glory, the primary glory, to even those you use to help to bring this change about. But to you be all the glory. You say you will not share your glory with anybody else. You say you are a jealous God. Or we give you all the glory and the praise. We used to sing a song about we shall overcome. We hadn't overcome everything, but just look all around. We can see that we've overcome many things. Oh God, we're running. You brought us a long way. We hadn't made 100 yet. Oh, we got to be faithful unto the end. Bless this city. Oh God, bless this nation. Let peace abide, you said. Oh, those of us who believe in you. And we believe in you red, yellow, black, and white. You said, if those who believe in you will humble themselves and pray, seek your face, and turn from our wicked ways, we all have come short of your glory. Then you'll hear from heaven. You'll forgive our sin. You'll sin forgiver. And you'll heal the land. In Jesus' name. Let us all say amen.
Amen.
Salute the flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, Madam Clerk. How are you doing?
Good morning.
Good. We can do the roll call, please.
Councilmember Abbott,
Present?
President Pro Tem Alexander, Councilmember Hilliard, Councilmember Hoyt, Councilmember O'Quinn.
Good morning.
Good morning. Councilmember Smitherman.
Good morning.
Good morning. Councilmember Williams. Councilmember Woods.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Council President Parker.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay. All right. We need a approve the minutes of September 24th and October 1st, 2019.
I move approval.
Second.
It's Councilor Abbott, Councilor Smithman.
The voting has started.
Okay. All All right, that item passes. The minutes not ready for October 8th through January 28th, 2020. Good morning, sir. Okay, you would need a minute. Okay, all right, let's go through our consent agenda, and we'll come back to the mayor in just a moment.
And before that, the announcement of boards and agency expirations for March 2020, we did not have any.
Okay, thank you.
The consent agenda,
And there should be one or two addendums, I think. Well, I think there's an addendum or two as well.
yeah, we have one.
Okay.
It's being copied. It'll be
Okay,
in shortly.
all right.
The addendum begins on page 3 with items 3 and 4. Then we go over to page 5 with item 5. Page 9, item 6. Page 13, item 7. Page 14, item 8. Page 15, items 10 and 11. Page 16, items 12, 13, 14, and 15. Page 17, items 16, 17, 18, and 19. Page 19, items 24, 25, and 26. Page 20, items 28 and 29. Page 21, items 30, 31, and 32. Page 22, items 33, 34, 35, and 36. Page 23, and item 37. Thank you. Page 23, items 38, 39, 40, 41, and 42. Page 24, items 43, 44, 45, and 46. Page 25, items 47, 48, 49, and 50. Page 26, items 51, 52, 53, and 54. Page 27, items 55, 56, 57, and 58. Page 28, items 59, 60, 61, and 62. Page 29, items 63, 64, and 65, and that completes the consent agenda.
Okay, Dr. Quinn, I see.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. President. I was hoping we could add item number 27 on page 20.
No, that's, you have to read it out.
Okay.
Yeah, we got to read it out. Counselor Abbott, you good?
No, I have a question about items 31, 32, and 33.
You want to take them off, or you just want to
Well,
ask
no,
the
I just
question?
want to ask my question. I think I could ask it without us going into executive session. I wanted to know if these are all city employees that are involved in these suits? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Current city employees?
Some are not.
Okay, thank you. That's what I wanted to know because I noticed the names were the same. Some of the names were the same in all of them. And thank you.
So you're good?
I'm good,
Okay.
yeah.
Counselor Smith, are you good? Counselor Woods, Counselor Hilliard, everybody's good? Okay. All right, we're ready. Let me read my tagline, but all items designated as consent are routine and non-controversial and will be approved by one motion. No separate discussion of these items will be permitted unless a council member, the mayor, or a citizen interested in a public hearing or request. If so, such items will revert to its normal place on the agenda order of business. All matters of permanent operation will be read. All other matters will be announced by reading the item number only. All public hearings will be announced. So with that, I have a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All right, it's Councilor Smithering, Councilor Quinn, ready to vote.
The voting is started. Councilor Hilliard.
Okay, all right. The consent agenda is approved. Mr. Mayor, you want us to go through the items, or we can give you a moment to finish up? Okay, yes, sir. Alrighty.
Thank you, Mr. President and Council. I'll try to be brief since we have some young people here who need to get back to school. This morning, we are joined by some very smart career tech students from Birmingham City Schools. At this time, could Eleanor Cox and Dr. Chuck Willis come up? As a matter of fact, why don't all the young people and staff come on up? All right. What we want to do today is we prepare to declare February Career and Technical Education Month. Through the school system's career tech programs, students you see present, some of them with their cool blazers on, are gaining invaluable skills that will be able to allow them and take them into the workplace and beyond, and we're very proud of them. And so today, what I wanted to do is read this proclamation, a portion of it, and then I wanted to give Dr. Willis and or Ms. Cox an opportunity to share the good work they do in investing in these children. I will tell you this, I had a similar opportunity to many of these young people. I see DECA. Not only was I in DECA my junior and senior year, but I left high school early as well, my junior and senior year, to work and receive credit hours for it. So it's good to see this program not only continuing, but to see the leadership in place, finding cooler ways to make sure we connect with this generation of young people that are taking advantage of this opportunity. And the proclamation in part reads as, whereas in Birmingham, 720 middle school and 4,867 high school students are currently enrolled in one or more career and technical education or Army JROTC courses and programs of study. And whereas career and technical education programs of study in Birmingham City School system are committed to recruiting highly qualified and focused educators who are dedicated to ensuring that all BCS students graduate from high school, college, and career ready. Now, therefore, I, Randall L. Woodfin, Mayor of the City of Birmingham, along with the City Council, join the Alabama Department of Education and national education organizations in declaring the month of February 2020 as Career and Technical Education Month in Birmingham, and I encourage all residents to recognize the endless opportunities that are being made available to our students on a daily basis. Thank you. This is for you.
Mayor Woodfin, President Parker, members of the City Council, good morning. I am Dr. Charles Willis, Senior Executive Director for Post-Secondary Readiness, Birmingham City Schools. It is my pleasure to be here with some of our most outstanding scholars of the CTE program, along with our teachers and program administrators. We are very delighted to be here this morning as we recognize and celebrate the achievements of our students. Our goal is to make sure that they are prepared to own tomorrow. And so with that being said, we want to provide them all the exposures that we can possibly provide to them, getting them out, getting to know the industry and the work world. So we all know that everyone is not going to go to college, but our communities are full of opportunities for students to be successful and be gainfully employed. So with that, we want to thank the Birmingham City Council, the mayor, and the city for all of the support they give to Birmingham City Schools, as well as the opportunities that are currently being provided through the Promise Initiative. Our kids have a lot of opportunities to participate in Ready to Work, and the Promise Program and other initiatives that are out there. So we're just excited and delighted that the kids are having opportunities that some of us could never have dreamed of previously. So it's a wonderful opportunity. We're forever grateful to the mayor, city council, and all who support our children of Birmingham. Thank you all so much, and we're delighted to be here this morning. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Willis. Thank you, Mr. President, for recognizing me. To the mayor, I want to thank you for bringing these awesome young people here. I, too, had an opportunity to do the same thing that you're doing. When I attended Parker High School in my junior year, I worked I worked in a law office, but yet said, what I want to say to you, you are awesome. You are so beautiful. You have so much potential. It's unbelievable. But I want to warn you, your competition is not the person next to you. It's the global world. You're in a world right now where competitiveness is everything. Every morning your feet hit the ground, you better be running. You better have a goal set. If you haven't set a goal, you better set some goals. Because if you don't, you're in competition against the rest of the world. How many of you watch those wildlife shows and every morning you see the deers, they take off running? Because what's running behind them? The lions are running behind them. I want you to understand, every morning you wake up, I want you to take off what? I want you to take off what? Running. You run for success because you are success. Thank you so much, Mr. President. Thank you, Mayor, for bringing these wonderful young people. And thank you, Dr. Willis, for all that you and the administrators do for the city of Birmingham. Run, young people, run.
Yes, sir.
This quick. Look at her. Have a good day. Thank you, Mr. President and Council. On a second note, at this time, Mr. President and Council, it gives me a tremendous honor. I'm very excited about this to bring up our new fire chief and our new deputy chief, as well as our new assistant chiefs. And I'll have Chief Moon introduce his team. Yesterday, as many of you all know, they were actually sworn in into their new positions. It is good to see this new leadership core lead our fire department, our fire and rescue services, who understand not only in running with and embracing our core values, but really taking care of the morale of our employees who are on the front line of protecting and saving life and property in the city of Birmingham. With that, I'll give you Chief Moon, who will introduce his team and share a few words with you all.
Good morning.
Morning.
Mayor, council, staff, members of the public. Thank you for having us this morning. We're headed to a conference in Tuscaloosa this morning, but we wanted to stop by and say that I'm proud to serve as the fire chief of the city of Birmingham. I look forward to working with all of you guys to meet the needs of the citizens that we serve. So I'll introduce you to our new executive staff. Our deputy chief, Chief Purify, is actually at the conference holding the table for us. So this morning we have Deputy Chief Larry Brown, Deputy Fire Chief Desmond Williamson, Deputy Fire Chief Matthew Lamont. Thank you, guys.
Are there, oh, we'll let them finish taking pictures.
Gentlemen, y'all be safe on the road. No speeding. Mr. President and Council, just a couple more notes. Last year, as you all know, the Birmingham Police Department launched its Coffee with the Cop tour. I think many of you all as counselors participated in it as well. Just wanted the public and you all to know we're going to do it again this year. The new dates start this week, and For more information on location and information, please visit birminghamal.gov for a list of upcoming dates. City of Birmingham will join the American Heart Association for Wear Red Day on Friday, the 7th, for a special program on the second floor of City Hall at 1 p.m. This campaign is to raise awareness on the importance of maintaining a healthy lifestyle and healthy heart. Just two more notes. So many times I get questions on how we can be on cities, boards, and agencies, or as an individual, how do I find out or learn more about opportunities to serve on boards and agencies in the city of Birmingham. And on several occasions, we have offered classes on this very topic. And we wanted to continue with offering classes for our residents to be exposed to and or learn about opportunities to serve on boards and agencies throughout our city. The next training session will be Wednesday, February 5th. That's tomorrow in council chambers. So for more information, please visit birminghamal.gov/transparency. We want to encourage our attendees. Actually, attendees must register in advance. One last note, the next town hall meeting will be in District 7 with Council President Pro Tem Wardeen Alexander. It'll be held next Tuesday, February 11th at Winona High School. We encourage residents of District 7 to come out and meet community partners at 5:30, and the meeting will start at 6. Mr. President and Council, that concludes the mayor's report.
Thank you. Councilor Abbott.
Can you tell us again the date for the healthy?
Yes, that's this
on
Friday.
this
Wear
Friday.
Red campaign, February 7th, 1 p.m., City Hall, second floor. That's February 7th at 1 p.m. here, second floor.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Councilor Hilliard.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I appreciate everything you did. On last week, we talked about some trash that was in the North Birmingham area. I want to thank you all for speedily cleaning that trash up. And the same thing that comes down through the corridor on Cherry Avenue, leading out to Daniel Payne Middle School and all that is, y'all have done an excellent job. But this is what I realized. The faster we clean it up, the quicker they put it right back out there. I just can't believe how it's looked like from Thursday to Sunday, people use those corridors. Everybody used Birmingham as a dumping ground. In some type of way, we're going to have to continue to push legislation through so we can have us some eyes out here watching people when they dump and being able to report them. Because our city is being worked overtime in cleaning up this trash, and then to turn right back around 4 days later and see the same spot with trash right back in it is just a hard fed on our department. And I just want to thank you for at least working to help us keep it clean.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Mr. President, if a brief moment to respond to Councilor Hilliard. I'm like you. I do want to thank our employees who are working double time and overtime and on weekends, litter crews, et cetera, to continue to pick up after nasty adults in our city. And I know some people get offended when I say that, but you have to call it like it is. We're one of the few cities in America, definitely our size, that picks up trash, not only for the individual household twice a week, but throughout our city, we probably pick up trash at least 6 days a week. So there are many opportunities for people to do the right thing. I think people just choose not to do the right thing. With the Dummy campaign, which a lot of you all have embraced and are participating in, we want to continue to encourage our law-abiding citizens and our residents who want to participate in keeping Birmingham beautiful, that they can feel empowered, be empowered to be the additional eyes and ears if they see someone dumping in proximity where they live in the individual block, street, alley, wherever it is. I state this because I mean it. You do not have to engage the person, and actually we encourage you not to engage. But you should be in a position, if you can, take your phone out, use your camera, use your video, try to get a picture of the person, and most importantly, if it's by car, get a picture of their tag. Take that information down. I know, Ms. Abbott, I owe you a conversation. We've talked about this, not in detail like you want yet. Take that information down to the magistrate's office. that puts you in a position where summons or a warrant can be issued for this person that's illegally dumping and or trashing our city.
But to realize that not all these people that dumping in our city actually live here.
Yes, sir.
They come in from other places and other municipalities and stuff like that and dump trash in Birmingham. So we definitely need to be vigilant on that. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Councilor Abbott.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to see if you would give us a status report on the cameras that we're supposed to be getting in our city to watch both crime and I guess we can catch a few dumpers while we're at it.
Yes. Right now, we have our community development. Community development has been looking at pricing, but legal has also been searching, I guess, ways legally we'll be in compliance with whatever state laws there are as it relates to cameras, where they can be placed, etc. I know the police department is also involved in this conversation. Chief, how close are we?
Pretty close, and you've hit the nail on the head. The other part of that, Counselor, is the enforcement once those individuals are identified. So we have to make sure we're in compliance with, once they're recognized and identified, what's our enforcement power from what's being viewed. So in addition to identifying the cameras, it's the next steps too, but we're close. The identification of the cameras and their costs, we're pretty good. It's the enforcement piece that we're walking down.
Okay, because I have neighborhood associations in my district that want to fund extra cameras because they're very interested in enforcement and catching the bad guys. So
Yes, ma'am.
there will be more money. You know, everybody's always talking about how the neighborhoods don't spend their money. They want to spend their money. And they want to spend it on cameras and catch these people because sometimes they know who the dumpers are, but, you know, the law department says that, yes, photographs and videos will work, but you have to have somebody who can say they identify the person in the picture. Yeah, that's Joe Blow.
Right.
So they want to spend their money on cameras.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All righty. Is that, Council? Everybody's good? Okay. All righty. Move on to the first item on the agenda. Madam Clerk.
Yes, sir. The first item is on page 2. Item number 1. An ordinance to further amend the zoning district map of the City of Birmingham, case number ZAC 2019-00026, to change zone district boundaries from R4 two-family and semi-attached dwelling district and R5 multiple dwelling district to D5 multiple dwelling district in order to construct a cottage and townhouse development filed by Dynamic Civil Solutions representing the owner WF Real Property Resources LLC for the properties located at 5984 Georgia Road, 6004 Georgia Road, 6012 Georgia Road, 261st Street South, and 216 21st Street South, and situated in the northeast quarter of Section 21, Township 17 South, Range 2, and this is the hearing of our interested parties.
Okay. Councilor Abbott.
Thank you. Ms. Spurl, will you please read our case?
Excuse me, we need to get it on before you.
Oh, I move approval.
Second.
Councilor Abbott. Councilor Smith. Yes, ma'am. Councilor Abbott.
Ms. Spurl.
Good morning. I'm Kim Spurl with the Department of Planning, Engineering, and Permits. Our first rezoning case this morning is case ZAC 2019-26. This is in the South Woodlawn neighborhood. This is an application to change the zone district boundaries from R4 and R5 to D5, which is multiple dwelling district, in order to construct a cottage and townhouse development. The subject property is currently zoned R4 and R5. Abutting the subject property to the north is the Park at Wood Station apartments that were recently constructed. To the south are single-family residential properties, and also to the east there are single-family residential properties, both zoned R4. The Chateau Plaza apartments are to the west of this site, and they are zoned R5. The applicant's proposal is 2 mini projects. The first of which is the cottages on Georgia Road that will include the new construction of 8 senior citizen cottages and an outdoor pavilion. Each cottage will have 2 bedrooms and 1 bathroom. The second part of the project is the Woodlawn Townhouse development, and that will include the construction of 11 townhouses and 1 single-family detached home. Each unit is proposed to have 3 bedrooms and 2.5 bathrooms. The overall development will also have green space, landscaping, and lighting that will all meet our city requirements. The city's long-range land use plan identifies the properties at 200 61st Street South and 216 61st Street South as residential low. So therefore, this is not consistent with the long-range land use plan. The properties at 6012 Georgia Road and 6004 Georgia Road and 5984 Georgia Road are identified in the long-range land use plan as residential medium. Therefore, this is consistent with the city's long-range land use plan. The applicant has been before the Zoning Board of Adjustment to get a variance for the creation of a lot that doesn't have public street frontage. And the applicant has also been to the subdivision committee to create the lots and also for approval of a private road that will go through this development. And both of those requests were approved. This development will also have to comply with all the city's stormwater management requirements, including a permit that will include a meeting with the city's stormwater staff. The South Woodlawn Neighborhood Association met on October 5th, 2019 to review this rezoning request, and they voted to recommend approval. The vote was 7 approved and 0 denied. The Zoning Advisory Committee met on November 5th, 2019, and they also voted to recommend approval of the rezoning request. The Planning and Zoning Committee met on November 13th, 2019, and they also voted to recommend approval of the request. And this concludes the staff report.
Thank you. Thank you. Now the applicants, I assume y'all are the applicants. You can make your presentation now.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm Balaji Kukoyi, Dynamic Civil Solutions. I'm here on behalf of Woodlawn Foundation on the project. Kim, I think, did a pretty good job explaining the project, so I'll take any questions you guys have. This is really just 2 projects, and one is the cottages and the townhomes. But from a planning perspective and from a design perspective, we're trying to make it seamless, so it looks like one big development. But I'll be happy to take any questions.
Did you bring your drawings, your bigger
Yes, ma'am.
drawings?
I have.
We have some very tiny drawings, but it's good to see the big ones.
Okay, so just as an overview, this is Georgia Road, and this is 61st. So to the northeast of the site are where the cottages are going to be located, and the townhomes along Georgia Road. So all of the entrances will either be from the private road we're creating or from the old alley, which is also going to be a private road. So there will be no access drives on Georgia Road at all. So everybody comes in and out of the private road. And we've talked to engineering and traffic and fire, and we've worked out all the details as far as access points for each of the residents.
Is there any parking on Georgia Road allowed?
No, there is no parking on Georgia Road. We do have a few spaces internally to the project just for the, I guess, common area, like where the pavilion is and stuff. Right.
Thank you. Are there any questions from members of the council regarding these plans? Okay, this is a public hearing, so if y'all will have a seat, and let's see if there are any members of the public here who wish to speak. This is a public hearing. Is anyone in the audience here today either to speak in favor or to speak in opposition or to just simply ask questions? Seeing no one, I believe we're ready for a vote.
Okay.
Mr. President, I'm turning it back to you.
All right. The vote is started.
I'm an aye, but my laptop's down.
Okay, the next item is item number 2, also on page 2. An ordinance to further amend the zoning district map of the city of Birmingham, case number ZAC 2019-00035, to change zone district boundaries from QC1 Qualified Neighborhood Commercial District to QC1 Qualified Neighborhood Commercial District, and thereby amending the Q conditions of case ZAC 2017-00003, ordinance 1983-G, to modify the 30-foot planted or natural buffer on the south side of the site to a 10-foot planted or natural buffer to allow for more parking, filed by Brent Pierce, representing the owner, America's First Federal Credit Union, for the property located at 724 Crow Drive and situated in the northeast quarter of Section 36, Township 16 South, Range 2 West, and this is a hearing of all interested parties.
Second. Yes, Counselor. Mrs. Spurl, would you read our case?
Thank you. Once again, I'm Kim Spurl. I'm with the Planning, Engineering, and Permits Department. This is case ZAC 2019-35. And as the clerk stated, this is a change in zone district boundaries from QC1 to QC1. And what this request is to amend the Q conditions that were placed on the original zoning case that occurred in 1994. The case was filed by Brent Pierce, who represents the owner, America's First Federal Credit Union. The property is located in the Roebuck neighborhood. The applicant is requesting to amend the Q conditions to reduce the buffer on the southern side of the property. The current buffer states that it has to be 30 feet, and they're requesting to reduce that to 10 feet in order to construct 17 additional parking spaces. The building sits on approximately 1.08 acres of land and borders the Huffman Church of Christ to the north, which is Zone D2, a parking lot and car wash to the east, Zone C2, and single-family homes to the west and south, Zoned D2. As stated before, the credit union sits on the existing site. It was constructed in 1997. Therefore, the parking requirements were under our previous zoning ordinance. And the applicant is requesting to modify the Q condition so that they can construct 17 parking spaces in what was deemed the 30-foot landscape buffer. The site currently has 24 parking spaces and an additional parking lot across the street that contains 14 spaces. They're proposing the additional parking due to high volume traffic on peak days during the month. The applicant did attend the Roebuck Neighborhood Association on October 14th, 2019, and the neighborhood voted to recommend approval of the request. The vote was 10 approved and 0 denied. The Zoning Advisory Committee met on October 15th, 2019, and they also voted to recommend approval of the request. On October 23rd, 2019, the Planning and Zoning Committee met, and they also voted to recommend approval of the applicant's request. And that concludes the staff report.
Thank you. Our applicants, would you please come forward and speak? Tell us your name and address and present your case.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Alan Stabler. I'm Executive Vice President and General Counsel of America's First. Some of you are probably familiar with America's First. We've been in Birmingham since 1936. We've had a branch in the Roebuck community since 1981. We were in a lease facility for a number of years, and then we purchased this property in 1997. Our Roebuck branch is consistently one of our highest transaction volume branches. It ranks number 2 or 3 of our entire branch network of 19 branches. And as you've heard from the city, we do experience parking shortages on a regular basis. It causes our members to sometimes park in the street, sometimes park in some of our neighbor lots. Actually, parking is one of our most frequent complaints from our members. So we are requesting this modification, as she stated. I do want to say, Councilor Abbott, at your request at the Planning and Zoning Committee hearing, you requested that we talk to the neighbors. On December 5th, we hand-delivered letters to all the adjoining property owners that contained an outline of the plan as well as copies of these diagrams so they could have a full understanding of what this project was going to look like. Our branch manager, who is here, actually spoke to one of the neighbors who came over. The neighbor certainly expressed his support of the project and recognized that there is a parking issue there. That's why we're here, and I'm going to turn this over to Brent Pierce with Gonzalez Strength to cover the details. And I'm happy to answer any questions as well.
I'm Brent Pierce.
We have a handheld mic right behind you if you'd rather.
Okay.
You don't have to, but if you would prefer.
Okay. We're proposing
But you actually have to. It may not be on. You might have to flip the switch. I was trying to help. I may have made your life worse.
Okay. All right. So we are proposing to add an evergreen buffer along the south property line here. We'd also have a 4-foot high solid wood fence, and in addition, we would bring up to code the landscape on Crow Drive. Some of the plant material we're using, Virginia pines, wax myrtle, inkberry holly. They're all native plants. The bottom elevation shows the existing condition. It's pretty porous visually right now. We're proposing to add the 4-foot high wood fence right there. This is what it would look like at installation, and this is what it would be in about 5 years.
Okay, thank you. Do any members of the council have questions, questions regarding this request? Seeing none, are there members of the public who are here today to either ask questions or express a yes or no? Well, please come forward. Please come forward to the dais if you want to speak. Do you wish to speak? Ma'am, could you please come up and where we can hear you?
I had to give him what I need to give him. Good morning to everyone, not just one said group. We never heard anything that these people presented in the first place. And I got a cue. It's already been approved. Am I right?
No.
Oh, yes, it have. But if we come to the mic, we must speak up. We must speak out. It's already been given to them. Remember last Tuesday, a person coming here from up in Highland Avenue or someplace. What did you tell them? Well, all this property that you have in Birmingham, of course you can have some of it, but you're shipping up them out of Birmingham. Now, I hear everything on the radio and everything else. Why are you giving these people what belongs to us, but you're loading us up in a garbage truck like the slaves used to be on their feet dangling in the back, putting us out of town but giving them everything that belonged to us? Give me an answer to that. I raised my hand before, and you ignore that the other crew that come up here.
What does this have to do with planting plants on the side of a credit union?
What?
Well, that's what I was wondering.
What? Speak up when you got a group of people with this stuff up here. These
Mr. President, can we please
okay,
stick to the topic?
Here's where we are. No, I'm saying the hearing is off of the presentation that was made. If there was an issue, you could hear them in the back?
No.
Is that what you could
not
hear?
Not in the
them?
back. I'm not sitting in the back. I'm sitting in the third row.
Okay, so you couldn't hear it. So here's the deal. Mr. Mayor, if staff could just give a brief synopsis, a 30-second version, using the microphone there. Obviously, we had an issue with the handheld mic, so we'll just not use that one, and we'll just ask, Mr. Mayor, if that's okay, or
If I make a
Chief
statement,
Moore.
you'll do it.
Ma'am?
If I happen to make a statement, because you know, we are illiterate and ignorant. So it seems. You could have had him in his mic in the first place, but this has already been done.
Okay, all right.
It's been done.
What we were doing, if Chief Moore, if staff could come back and just give a brief overview using the mic here, we were utilizing additional mic, obviously the technical issues, so we'll work on that. So we won't use that microphone. And Mr. Chief Moore, if it's okay, if staff could come up, give a 30-second overview of the project. If there's not any questions specifically for the project, we're going to move forward with the vote.
I have questions.
Okay, so you want to ask the questions, and then we can ask.
I didn't hear the overview of whatever you said. I don't want you to come back and do anything second, because I'm not a child and I'm not ignorant now.
Well, if you
I guess, no. I'm going to go sit down. And I'm not violent. Violent is done to me in my household. Do you know I lived up in a house a whole year because my mom told me that I was telling grown folks talk?
Okay, ma'am.
No.
Okay.
I'm going to sit down. No. I don't want to hear it.
Okay.
I don't
All
want
right.
to hear it. You don't
Okay. If there are any other questions, we're going to move for a vote. Okay. That was the only other person had a question pertaining specifically to the case. I don't see anyone else. So, Madam Clerk, you call for the vote.
The vote is started.
Thank you. All right, that's up. That item passes. Next item.
The next item is on page 15. It's item 9. A resolution assenting to the vacation of 21,756 square feet of Goldwire Place Southwest situated parallel to and between Goldwire Street and Martin Luther King Jr. Drive, and perpendicular to and between Goldwire Circle and 6th Avenue Southwest, on behalf of J.Ann Dezenzio, on behalf of the Rocky House Properties LLC owners, so that the owner can renovate and improve the existing structures. And this is the hearing of all interested parties. It's case number SUB 2019-00086.
I move approval.
Second.
Councilor Abbott, Councilor Smithman, you want to handle this, or?
Roger Glow, Planning, Engineering, and Permits. Subdivision case 2019, case number 86, which is a resolution to determine whether the City Council will give its assent to the vacation of 21,756 square feet of right-of-way so that the owner can renovate and improve the existing structures. The 1/3 right-of-way vacation fee has been set at $9,790.20. On November 13th, 2019, the Subdivision Committee of the Birmingham Planning Commission recommended the approval of this vacation to the full council. On December 10th, 2019, the Public Improvements and Beautification Committee forwarded this vacation to the full council with a favorable recommendation. Have any questions? I do have the applicant here.
Councilor Abbott.
Yeah, is this an unopened street, or what is the situation? What is the reason for the vacation?
Yes, ma'am. I'm Joey Miller, Civil Engineer and Land Surveyor, 2500 South Lake Park, Suite 100, Hoover, 35244. What this is it's unopened right away, and if you can look at it from the 6th Avenue Southwest, it looks like their parking lot, but they've somewhere in the past, before the current owners bought both sides, they own both sides of the unopened right of way. It was built like a parking lot, and so what they're wanting to do is renovate their building, but they also want to use that area as their truly as their parking lot and own it, because you really can't. Basically, what's happening is it's encroaching out into the city right of way, but it's an unopened street. It's not a through street, and the city doesn't maintain it.
Okay, well, good.
So,
that was my question.
Yes,
if
ma'am.
it was an unopened street,
Yes, ma'am.
because you can't really tell from the drawing.
Well, yeah, and if you looked at it, it looks like the parking lot of the buildings. You know, if you look at it from, you know, standing out in 6th Avenue South and looking north.
Okay, thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am.
You've answered my question.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else from the council? Is there anybody in the audience that wish to speak on this item? Okay, President Parker, it's time for the vote.
Okay, thank you. Madam Clerk, we're ready.
And the vote is started.
Okay, that item passes. Next item, please.
The next item will be item number 20.
Let me ask everybody, is it okay if we bring those up as a group, or you want them individually? What's everybody's pleasure? Read them all together, or you want them individually?
Together is fine.
Okay, that's fine. If you can read them
Okay,
together.
all four of them? Okay.
I think it's 3 with navigate, and then 2 with,
So you
well,
want to do those
we can do
three
all
together?
4 of them. You can read them all 4 together.
Okay, we're on page 18. Item number 20 is an ordinance approving and authorizing the mayor to execute a contract for sale of real estate between the City of Birmingham and Navigate Communities LLC, under which Navigate Communities LLC will purchase certain vacant real estate located at 430 First Street South, 35205 in Birmingham for the assessed value of $5,800. Item number 21 is an ordinance approving and authorizing the mayor to execute a contract for sale of real estate between the City of Birmingham and Navigate Communities LLC, under which Navigate Communities LLC will purchase certain vacant real estate located at 330 First Street South, 35205 in Birmingham for the assessed value of $3,400. Item 22 is an ordinance approving and authorizing the mayor to execute a contract for sale of real estate between the City of Birmingham and Navigate Communities LLC, under which Navigate Communities LLC will purchase certain vacant real estate located at 322 First Street South, 35205 in Birmingham for the assessed value of $1,000. And item 23 is an ordinance approving and authorizing the mayor to execute a contract for sale of real estate between the City of Birmingham and Rana Sukar, under which Rana Sukar will purchase certain vacant real estate located at 421 12th Avenue North, 35204 in Birmingham for the assessed value of $2,000. This is the first reading of all of these items, so we'll need UC first.
Move the items. Second.
Okay, that's Councilor Okay. Councilor Hilliard, he's out.
He's back.
Okay, he's back. Councilor Hilliard. Okay. I'm sorry. Councilor O'Quinn.
Yes.
Councilor Smitherman.
Yes.
Councilor Williams.
Aye.
Councilor Woods.
Aye.
Councilor Abbott.
Aye.
And Council President Parker.
Aye.
Okay, so now we need a motion
Move
to
the
adopt the
items.
items.
Second.
And Councilor Williams. Okay, if there's no conversation, no one has any discussions, the vote is started. Councilor Williams and Councilor Abbott.
There it goes.
And the vote is up.
Mr. President, I would like to ask if when we're selling property, if a map could be included with our packets so that we could see where the properties are. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, the next item will be on page 20, and that's item 27. That is a resolution appointing one member to the Birmingham Parking Authority, said term expiring October 31st, 2023.
Move the item.
Second.
Yes, so this is, I actually thought that we had gotten this done a few months ago, but apparently it wasn't in the record. So this is a reappointment of Hager Hill, who's been serving on the Birmingham Parking Authority for at least one term already. So this is a reappointment to expire October 31st, 2023.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed. And now the vote is started on the appointment. Okay, that vote should be up.
Okay, that item passes. Next item.
The next item will be the addendum item.
Okay.
Item number 66. A resolution authorizing the mayor to issue on behalf of the city a firm commitment to allocate a total of $960,060 of the city's home funds to WF Southtown Family LP for the development of affordable housing on property within the Southtown Court Public Housing Redevelopment Project area, and upon submittal to the Community Development Department of required program documents, to enter into an agreement with WF Southtown Family LP, under which the city will provide up to $960,060 of home investment partnership funds to be utilized as construction financing at 0% interest for the construction of affordable housing units, site work, and infrastructure improvements, with such loan to be secured by a construction mortgage.
Okay, we have a motion to approve.
I move approval.
Councilor Abbott, Councilor Williams. This was discussed at our committee of the whole meeting on last Thursday. So, if there are any questions from the council, okay, we're ready to vote.
Okay, the vote is started.
Okay, that item is approved, and they will be coming back to committee of the whole monthly, with the Housing Authority and the other partners reporting back to us at committee of the whole on a monthly basis. So, all right. Next item, Madam Clerk.
The next item is older new business or the speakers.
Yeah, let's suspend the rules for our speakers.
Motion to suspend the rules for the speakers. Second.
All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed.
Is our clock working?
Our first item is, the first person is Louis Willie.
Yeah. Good morning, sir. How you doing? Good. You have 3 minutes.
My name is Louis Willie. I'm an attorney, and I live at 2222 2nd Avenue North. I represent a number of building owners, residents, and business owners who are affected by a request for an easement on 2nd Alley North. This was before the council back in November, and it was on the consent agenda originally. It was removed from consent, referred back to the Public Improvement Committee. It went to the Public Improvement Committee in December, where I, along with several of the other people who are affected by this request, made an appearance. The developer was instructed by the chairman of the committee to meet with the impacted neighbors in the area and try to work something out, and the item was continued until the next meeting. No communication ever occurred between the developer and the people who were affected. There was no January meeting of the Public Improvement Committee. It was scheduled for, according to what we were told, February 4th, which is today. Unbeknownst to us, someone gave approval for the project to proceed. We don't know whether it was staff. We don't know whether it was the council in some form or fashion in some meeting that occurred somewhere without anyone knowing about it. It seems to me that as the legislative body of this city, to believe that there are actions being taken that require your approval, not to have been given the opportunity to actually act on this proposal, just flies in the face of everything that you all are supposed to be. This city now talks every day, from the mayor's office to the council offices and everything in between, about transparency. There is absolutely no transparency when an item has not been approved by the appropriate committee, referred back to the full council for a vote, and all of a sudden it's a done deal. Where is the transparency in that, and how possibly could that have happened? I just need to know that.
Okay. Dr. O'Quinn, did you want to speak to this item, or?
So I can speak to my portion of it. So this came before the council, I believe it was back in December or late November, and I knew that residents in the area still had some open questions about what was going on. So I motion to recommend it back to committee. It went back to PIC committee. At the PIC committee, several residents, concerned citizens expressed their reservations about the project, and that actually was the second PIC committee that individuals who from the public who had comments on that were able to speak to the issue. From what I understand, or the information that was presented to me was from the architect and the structural engineer for the project, and my ask to them was, explain to me why no other alternative way of doing this, explain to me why this has to encroach on the alley and the ADA access can't be through any other means but encroaching on the alley. And again, the architect and the structural engineer provided that information, and the city fire inspector, police department also provided information saying that even with the encroachment, the alley, access to the alley wasn't going to be impacted. Therefore, you know, I can't speak to what you mentioned regarding Councilor Smitherman requesting that the developer meet with the neighborhood. I don't recall that from the meeting, but what I do know is that the developer and the property owner met all of the requirements that I had put forward in terms of providing information as to why this was their only option to provide ADA access. And with that information being satisfied, I didn't have any additional reservations about the project. So that's about all I can tell you.
Mr. O'Quinn, Mr. President, if I could real quickly, that has absolutely nothing to do with the question that I asked. I'm not asking whether someone gave you information about why or when or whatever. The idea is that it needed to go before the Public Improvement Committee and then be referred back to the council as a whole for a vote. At this point, it is illegal to have done this, and it should be removed.
Here's where we are. I think there's a meeting scheduled today. That item could be added to the agenda for the PIC committee this afternoon. If you can give us a minute or two, we can kind of confirm that or not, whether the item is going to be back on the agenda in the committee meeting today, this afternoon.
So it's going to be on the agenda for approval after the project has already been done?
What are we trying to do is trying to figure out, I'm trying to assess where things are. If you give me a few minutes, okay?
And I had sent emails to all the council inviting them to come over prior to this.
What we're trying to do is get an assessment where things are. So if you want to wait.
I'll be happy to hang out.
Okay, all right, let's do that, okay? All right. Next speaker, Madam Clerk.
The next speaker is James King.
Good morning, sir. Good morning,
James
sir.
King, 3554 Church Street. Is there a lawyer in the house? I want to congratulate the Kansas City Chiefs, winner of the Super Bowl. And it is so enlightening to know that we have great elected officials such as the President of the United States to correct him and let him know that Kansas City is not in Kansas. It's in Missouri, Mr. President. I don't know where you got your education, but you're the leader of the free world. Please, God. This morning I came in, and for other people, that's another website called testprayers.com for competence. I come here this morning, I had some things to say, but this is one of those rare occasions where before I could get in here and really just blow my top, the mayor stopped me out there and the staff and corrected me. And I had a lot to say, and I mean, really, the old windbag was really getting ready to blow, and I feel so unfulfilled this morning.
Okay, all right, next speaker. Madam Clerk.
Charlie Powell.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Mr. President.
Yes, ma'am.
I want to thank Mr. King for giving us our moment of levity this morning. We needed one, so thank you.
Yeah.
We don't have very many of them.
No, we don't. Good morning, sir. How you doing?
Good morning.
Good.
Morning.
3 minutes.
I'm here today to find out what the problem is. On September the 24th, y'all passed a resolution, and in December we goes to get a request of a copy, and the city clerk says that it was never filed. So I want to get this to all of the council members up there, so I won't be prolonging their time and mine too. But now, however, we got this one here, and it was right after we did those two there. This was the one requesting to be put on the NPL. Okay, we got this from the city clerk, but those other two, they 4 and 2 months apart, and they has never been even documented. And I now reside in the Center Point area. I just want to clear that up because I lived in Fairmont for 43 years. And I don't think there's no law state where a person can live now. And that is my community. I grew up there. I was born there. So I came back to help my community. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing now. And I've been doing this since 2012, and everybody knows that I don't stay there. But I basically live there. Got property there, come down there and cut grass. I'm a licensed contractor. I do all the work there. I keep it right in that community. So I'm not going anywhere. The problem we are having now, I just want justice done for our neighborhoods. And all we are requesting is to remove the ones that want to be relocated, and the ones don't. I have no problem with that. But don't make a suggestion or I don't live there no more. The EPA said that. And I told them, y'all don't live there either. But y'all done got $20-something million to clean up around here. You know, I don't get this kind of money. Matter of fact, I don't get paid for what I'm doing. I just want justice done. So as soon as we can get that, we'll go further. You know, you have to start small and go up. So it starts with the city, the council, the mayor, and the governor, and goes till it hit the top. So I'm just doing protocol. And all of this other stuff ain't gonna make any sense. We just get justice done. Come together as brothers and sisters and let's get it done. That's all I'm saying. Now, you know, it's a known fact that they gave them folks $27 million from 2012 up until now, getting them $43 million more taxpayer dollars. When you get through with that, that's about $61 million. You know, I mean, I'm not crazy or dumb as they want to portray this thing, but we could have been out of there anywhere else. We could have built a whole new community for that kind of money and been some left. So what is the problem? And another thing I've been working on, everybody's not going to want to leave. So you got a portion of 2,900 people still. But I done narrowed it down to about 1,200 want to go. Well, let's get them out of there and let the rest of them stay. Then, you know, well, now, and I don't want to be just talking about one community. I'm just saying you get it out of all the communities, ain't specifying nothing, because I love all them communities, and I know everything that goes on around in there. Got relatives in all of them. And when I'm here speaking today, and since 2012, about the peoples that wants to go. That's all I'm doing. That's all I request.
Thank you. Here's what we're going to do. We appreciate you coming. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to ask before we adjourn today that this resolution, which we did before, we're going to ask the administrator and all if we can have it prepared so we can pass it before the end of council meeting today, and ask that we expedite it, get a certified copy so you can have it by the close of business today. That's the request. So if you can allow us to have the next speaker and allow me to start working with the staff before we adjourn today, even if we need to take a 5-minute recess to get it ready so we can pass this item today, you can have a certified copy, okay?
Okay, I don't have a problem.
All right, thank you. Next speaker.
The next speaker is Dr. Murphy.
Said the counselor didn't give him a copy. I don't know who the counselor was.
It's kind of hard. You're throwing me off. That's all. It's just what I have to say is very important. So I want to be clear about what I want to do. No disrespect to you. I got time. If you got time.
Okay, I shouldn't be one. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. It's just respect, my brother.
Okay, but I was noted that I needed
I understand.
to work on something else for the previous group.
But
Okay,
this is just important.
All right, go ahead.
To the city of Birmingham, I come in peace, not in fear. I came to speak about the human conditioning, about our little black boys. I understand that it takes some kind of belief system to make a young man shoot at a police officer. And what's so saddening about that is that black men my age are allowing these young kids to be degraded and take responsibility for all of their human conditioning. If you don't mind being honest. Back when I was a little bitty boy, my mother used to say to me, "Son, you need to be home before the street light came on." And I said, "Mother, why do I need to be home before the street light came on?" And she said, "Son, when I first moved to Birmingham in 1946, Bull Connor and his police officer would go out around that time and hunt down little black boys and rape and sodomize and kill and beat them. And over the years of that kind of treatment of a people, it has been taught generation after generation after generation that we shouldn't respect our police officers. And that's saddening. What has to happen is this. In my research over the last 4 years, and it's been extensive, and I've been to places like Austin Community and Chicago and Inglewood Community, at one point the most, it's hard words to describe it, the degradation and the bloodshed in those communities. And what I found out, the common denominator is what you believe. What is your belief system? Now we can congregate, and I believe in prayer. I'm a man of prayer. And I know the power of prayer. And it's sad to look at my own black brothers look at me the way that they do, as though that they have even no interest into the plight of the future of our own people. But the truth of the matter is this. There are a understanding that God sent me through, and most folks look at understanding as the ability to comprehend. But that's not what understanding is. You got to add the adjective that gives the noun meaning. And the adjective of understanding says this: to be sympathetically aware of other people's feelings, tolerant and forgiving. Bull Connor did a mean job, and that's what started the degradation. It didn't start with our little black boys. I'm gonna graduate in a minute.
All right.
It didn't start with our young black boys. They're hurting. They need guidance. They need church. They need for us to sacrifice for them. And I'm not going to let these little boys sit out here and take the blame for all of what these white folks has done for us for over 300 years in this country. Now, you might not want to hear the truth, but it's the truth. They are killing nobody boys but our boys. Why is that? How do you sleep at night? How that not concern you as a people? The level of disrespect that we have for one another. The condescending thoughts that we have for one another. How can we live this way? How can we live this way? The truth of the matter is it needs to be repaired. The way our young boys look at themselves in order to look at others for who they are. We didn't ask to take the treatment that we took in this country, but we took it. And it's sad that we want to forget about what they have done to us, and they want us to forget what they have done so we can take the blame for all the bloodshed they have done to our people. Who are we anymore? How can you stand for me if you won't stand for you? How can you represent me if you want to represent you? I don't like any black boy being put in the position that he can't even reason because of his pain, because of his hurt, and because of his suffering. Birmingham, we're better than this. My brothers, we are better than this. I ask that you join me to do like Jesus did. The reason that Jesus were able to help the poor, he walked with the poor. He knew their pain. He saw their suffering, and he had the power to do something about it. You all have the power to do something about it if you're not afraid to walk in the places to change the conditioning of the mind of a people who are suffering. I ask that you pray with me. And I ask that you learn, God, your ears to hear so that you may see what the God that we serve is saying. May God bless you. May God keep you, is my prayer for you.
Thank you. Dr. Murphy. With that, Madam Clerk, is that all of the speakers?
Yes, sir, that's all.
Okay. All righty. Before we go to old and our reports from the council members, I did just want to recognize some of the neighborhood officers. I see Reverend Watkins and his wife, Mrs. Watkins, and Mr. Giddens out there. So I just wanted to say good morning to you all, and thank you all for coming down. And we'll be following up on your issue over in North Avondale with the park. So with that, Councilor Williams, you want to start first?
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. President. Eastwood Neighborhood Association will be meeting at the Eastwood Public Library on February the 6th at 6:30. Roebuck Springs Neighborhood Association will be meeting, actually that should be Roebuck Neighborhood Association will be meeting at Don Hawkins Rec Center on the 10th at 6 o'clock. And today we have public safety meeting, which will be at 3:30 in these chambers. And that is all we got.
All right, Councilor Hilliard.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's District 9 time. The Westchester neighborhood will meet tonight at 6 o'clock p.m. at Gaines Chapel. The Wylam neighborhood will meet tonight at Faith Chapel at 6 o'clock p.m. And I like to say their normal meeting place has been the Wylam Library. It's been rebuilt and it's coming along beautifully. We drove through there and took a look at that Wylam area. The Sipco Finley neighborhood will meet tonight, Wednesday, February the 5th, at 5 o'clock p.m. at the First Baptist Church, Sipco. The Wilkerson Middle School will be having its caucus of Black Women in Congress Wednesday at February the 5th, today at 11 o'clock a.m. And I would like to thank my staff for actually taking a ride through the district and just checking on trash and other stuff that we see made to be done. We try to ride through our district as much as we possibly can to just check, and we ride out. Last week we spent time with the neighborhood president in over in the North Birmingham area, and him and riding through and his area and talking about the changes and what's been needed on my side of the North Birmingham area. So, Mr. President, I'd like to thank you for that report.
Thank you, Dr. Quinn.
Thank you, President Parker. So February is Black History Month, and there was a bit of history that was made this weekend with the opening of the Ursula Smith Dance Academy in the Civil Rights District on the corner of 5th Avenue and 16th Street. A lot of you are probably aware that that is the A.G. Gaston building, and hasn't been too much activity going on in that building over the last several years. So that has now changed, and we have a video regarding the ribbon cutting that happened for the Dance Academy this weekend. So if we could roll that now, please. This is a great day for the city of Birmingham, a new minority women-owned business right here in the most appropriate place that I can think of in the city of Birmingham, celebrating the culture of the city, and it's just a good day.
The Ursula Smith Dance Organization mission is to service minority children, youth, and adults through dance education, dance performances, and dance outreach. What's so unique about this situation is that we're serving the Birmingham community through cultural arts. So I think it's really historic for it to be the first day of Black History Month, in the historic district of Birmingham, Alabama. So I'm excited about it.
We are so excited for you. It's like our own personal opening today, girl. We are like literally screaming for you. I'm so excited. God saw this day. This is going to be the beacon that you felt that you wanted to see. We've already known that it's a need in our community. You are filling a void. You are standing in the gap. You are holding up the gate, and we are behind you 100%. The board loves the founder, Ursula Smith. Amen. Y'all clap for her. Thank you, board members.
Dance has been a gateway for kids to express themselves. I know I, for myself, growing up here in Birmingham, it wasn't a whole lot of outlets, and so it was through school that I found a love and passion for dance. So in the words of A.G. Gaston, he said, find a need and feel it. So what I started to do was using my gift and my talents to impact the community as a whole through performing arts.
I'm excited about being in your district. I'm excited about what this will change in the city, and especially this district. This is a unique situation, and so I'm looking forward to working with you to make sure that we not only survive, but we thrive.
And especially for the youth of our city, I think this is fantastic. Something that's going to help them get more connected to the arts, and in particular the history of the city and the history of the culture here. So again, it's just it's fantastic to see Ms. Smith opening this business and providing something that's going to really enrich the lives of the people and the children here.
And my honor to present to you, to the City of Birmingham, Ursula Smith Dance Academy.
So we look forward to working with Ms. Smith to help promote the Dance Academy. Again, it's just so wonderful to see empty space being enlivened in such a fantastic way. This month, or this coming week, we have several neighborhood meetings. Today, Forest Park South Avondale neighborhood meets at the Avondale Library at 6:30 p.m. Also tonight is the Eastlake Neighborhood Association meeting that meets at 7 p.m. at Household of Faith Church. On Thursday, the Wahoma neighborhood meets at the Eastlake Library at 6. And then on Monday, Gate City Neighborhood Association will meet at 11 a.m. at the Mount Moriah Missionary Baptist Church, and Oak Ridge Park neighborhood will meet at 7 p.m. at the New Community Baptist Church. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Quinn. Councilor Hillier, you had something to say.
Yes.
We'll go back to Mr.
Thank you, Mr. President. I left this off. Wilkerson Middle School will be hosting Sarah Versa from Fox 6 will come out Thursday, February the 6th at 10 o'clock a.m. to speak and engage with the youth on a discussion of the upcoming aviation project and those areas, those projects will all be at Wilkerson Middle School. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, Councilor Woods.
Thank you, Mr. President. A few things. The Bridlewood Neighborhood Association will meet tonight at 6 p.m. at the East Pinson Valley Rec Center. The Apple Valley Neighborhood Association schedule for tonight has been canceled. The Spring Lake Neighborhood Association meeting will be held on Thursday at 6:30 p.m. at the Springville Road Library. The Echo Highlands Neighborhood Association meeting will be held on Thursday at 7 p.m. at the East Pinson Valley Rec Center. Also want to celebrate our Huffman High School boys and girls basketball team. The girls play in the area tournament on Wednesday night at 6 p.m. and the boys will play in the area tournament on Friday night for the championship at 6 p.m. at Huffman High School. So I want to celebrate them. Also, I think PIO had a video. I don't know, is that ready? I haven't seen it, but I'm going to trust you.
It's very important at the beginning of every year. I like to really try to bring as many people together and just pick brains and get ideas and really make sure I'm in tune with what people want to see happen in the district and their communities.
On Saturday, February 1st, District 1 Councilor Clinton Woods gathered residents and stakeholders for a strategic planning session at St. Vincent's East to help create a shared vision and plan for the district.
I want my neighborhood to be more walkable. It wasn't designed that way, but I want something where I can be able to leave my home walking, walk to a park, do a couple of laps, and come back to my house and walk and not get in my vehicle at all. We're about to retire, so there's some things that we want to do within our neighborhood, and we want to be able to walk to do it. It may not be possible to get everything within walking distance, but I'd love to have something that way.
I think one of the biggest concerns I have, like everybody, is crime, making sure that our neighborhoods are safe. The next big thing that really bothers me is trash. We have people dumping, I've seen mattresses, toilets, everything in our community. And our community is beautiful. It's a valley. You wake up and you see rolling hills. And then to walk around and see trash is just, it's not the best way to live in that particular community or any community.
I think our roads and infrastructure piece is something that needs to be consistently improved upon. Like 2019 was a very good year, made a lot of progress, got a lot of funding, and also got a lot of road work done. So, but we need to keep that pace until we, really catch up. And then you're looking at economic development. There's a need to really bring more businesses to this area. I think we're a very strong area, high traffic counts, strong disposable income, so we need to be able to attract more businesses to the area. Lastly, we're focused on reading, and so we want to make sure our students are able to read at grade level. It's very tough on them if they're constantly playing catch up their entire K through 12 career.
For updates on how you can get involved in shaping the future of your community, follow the Birmingham City Council on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
One last thing, I did want to also mention that we've had some conversations here locally, and we'll be hosting a high-speed rail conference here in Birmingham on March 19th, and just really aimed at making sure everybody is aware of what the process is and how do you actually go about implementing and executing on a plan to bring high-speed rail. And so there'll be more information coming out about that, and definitely working with Councilor O'Quinn with transportation and Councilor Hilliard with economic development to make have a successful conference.
Is that everything? Okay. All righty. Councilor Abbott.
Thank you, Mr. President. The World Games are coming to Birmingham in 2021, and this is 2020. So the World Games are getting really close. There was a lot of discussion last night at the Glen Iris neighborhood meeting, since Bulls will be played at Bessie Estelle Park, and we've got to get ready for that and then get people excited so that they will volunteer to help at the games. So it's coming, and it's coming soon. The Jazz Cat Ball was held on Saturday night. It's the Humane Society's big fundraiser for the year, and I have to say that was the most elaborate and professional fundraiser I have ever been to in my entire life. Whoever was in charge did an absolutely amazing job. I'm sure that they raised a lot of money at that fundraiser. The next Budget and Finance meeting will be held on Monday, January 27th at 3:30 p.m. in conference rooms D and E. This is not right. January is over. February 24th? Good, thank you. It's a little boo-boo here, but anyway, all of your submissions are still due tomorrow at noon. So please get your submissions in if you wish to have your items considered at the Budget and Finance Committee meeting. Tonight, Forest Park South Avondale neighborhood meets at 6:30 p.m. at the Avondale Library. And then next week, Highland Park and East Avondale both meet at 6 o'clock next Monday. Highland Park at the Highland Golf Course and East Avondale at New Bethel Baptist Church. So, Mr. President, thank you very much. That's all for me.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Councilor Smith.
Thank you, President Parker. For neighborhood meetings tonight, Oakwood Place will meet at 4 p.m. at Harrison Park Recreation Center, and then Mason City will meet at 4:30 at Henry Crompton Recreation Center. Next Monday, February 10th, West End Manor will meet at New Hope Baptist Church at 6 p.m. And next Tuesday, February 11th, South Tidsville will meet at Tidsville Library at 5:30 p.m. and Arlington West End will meet at West End Library at 6 p.m. For announcements, this spring semester, I'll be partnering with Birmingham City Schools, Urban League, and Renaissance Bank to bring a 7-series financial literacy class to the seniors at Parker and Winona High School. This series will span topics such as credit, budgeting, entrepreneurship, home ownership, careers in banking, checking and savings accounts, and college/trade school preparation. The program kicks off at Parker High School on this Wednesday, February 5th, and continues every other Wednesday through April 29th. Classes start at Winona High School on this Thursday, February 6th, and continues every other Thursday until April 30th, totaling 7 sessions at each school. The classes will be offered during the students' homeroom hour. Next, Sit Down with Smitherman will take place on Tuesday, February 18th from 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. at Baptist Medical Center, which is located at 701 Princeton Avenue Southwest. Please join us and share your concerns about the needs of District 6. And yesterday we rode through Woodland Park and Powderly addressing old complaints. Tomorrow morning and Friday morning we will be driving through the district looking at places containing illegal dumping, trash, and other material. Thank you, President Parker.
Okay, real quick, regarding the issue with the that Mr. Willie spoke about, that item is going to be, we're asked for an update in the Public Improvement Committee meeting that's going to be scheduled today at 2 o'clock. Okay, it'll be an update, status update on where things are. So we're going to ask for that update to be provided on at 2 o'clock today. I'm just notifying you, and that item will be this. We'll ask for an update. Update meaning an update. Okay. All right. And I think Chief, is that okay? All right. So that'll be at 2 o'clock today in the Public Improvement Committee meeting scheduled at 2 o'clock today to receive that update in Councilor Smitherman's committee. So I just wanted to make sure I notified Mr. Willie about that. Also, just wanted to give a little housekeeping as well. The resolution that Mr. Powell and his group, it's resolution number 2255-19, which is the certification. We'll make sure that we get that to them hopefully by the end of close of business today. But anyway, just want to make sure that was in reference to the item that Mr. Powell mentioned, that he needed a copy of the resolution. So I think we should be able to get that to him in short order. And with that, there's one other, since these are my announcements, this is Black History Month, and I know Councilor Quinn, you just mentioned that, but we also want to make sure that we give a shout out to Congressman John Lewis, who's been a pillar in our community for years and years, and he's undergoing some medical issues now, but we're going to ask each council person to sign the card, and we're going to send that to him. And also, I think, is there a video ready to be played as well?
A little over 50 years ago, Birmingham City Hall was ground zero for the campaign of oppression against African Americans in Birmingham and across the country. The black and white images of fire hoses and police dogs will forever be tied to the fabric of who we are and who we become in Birmingham.
Every day we come to work for the citizens in a building where at one time African Americans were not allowed to hold office. It's a powerful reminder of when we collectively stood up and fought for justice and equality and won.
We stand on the shoulders of those men and women who marched alongside Dr. King. Look around you. Those heroes are still among us.
Racial inequities may have taken a different shape since the 1960s and Jim Crow, but make no mistake, the fight continues.
As elected representatives, our mission is to make sure Birmingham remains a beacon of hope for the rest of the world.
Through policy and advocacy, we want the world to see Birmingham as a place that fights for inclusion, equality, and justice.
Every day we're reminded of the sacrifices made by those who came before us. The world would be a very different place if not for their bravery.
On behalf of the City of Birmingham,
we would like to offer Congressman John Lewis and his family our support as he undergoes treatment for cancer. He has and continues to be an inspiration to us all.
So let us use this time to remember. Let us learn from our heroes, and let's continue that long march towards justice together.
I want to thank everyone and making sure that we keep our thoughts and prayers for Congressman John Lewis and also others. Real quick before we do a motion to adjourn, I want to give a shout out to Miss Emma Roberson, who will be turning 102 on Saturday. And just wanted to make sure she was born February 8th, 1918 in New Bern, Alabama. So she'll be turning 102 on this upcoming Saturday. So just want to wish her happy early birthday, and with that,
Second. All in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed.
Thank you all.